I remember it like yesterday. The hot New Orleans air that sits in my office until just after sundown. The humidity that sticks to your lungs. The allergies that hit you like a stack of bricks falling onto the freeway when the truck driver gets too familiar with the curve of I-10. The sound of my next-door neighbor's kids who shriek from sunup to sundown, allotting me very little respite on any given day. It was getting late that evening. The monthly meeting for the SNIPS team was just coming to an end when Morgan, my vice president, spoke up and asked me a final question before we ended the call.
You know what? Actually, Colin, before you go, I think we need like a intro or something for the whole thing. Like, do you think you could do like some kind of video or like a I don't know, like the history of the Scavengers Network maybe that could be cool, or like, oh, you know what you should do is like a podcast 101 or how to make a podcast. Yeah.
Now, I had an 80-plus page term paper I was turning in very soon, and surely I should focus on that primarily. The smart thing to do was to say, I'm sorry, but I'm too busy to do this project. What I said was, yeah, sure, Morgan, I got that, I can do that. So I agreed to do it. But surely, with nearly 3 months' time, I would be just fine. Okay, this shouldn't be too hard. How to make a podcast. I already have 2 steps. Step 1, come up with an idea for a podcast. Step 2, come up with a cool name for your podcast. Sometimes steps 1 and 2 are switched, but this order seems to work best. Step 3. Step 3. Okay, step 3. Just think of a step 3. All you gotta do is just gotta think of step number 3. Why is this so difficult? This shouldn't be this hard. Oh my god. Think. Okay, there's no need to rush art. I've got plenty of time to do this. First things first, I have to do that paper. For real. As you can see, it took me quite a while. This is 88 pages. Insane. Okay. Project's in. Time to get back to work. How to make a podcast. We already know steps 1 and 2, so let's go ahead and get right back to step number 3. Record your show. Step 4. Edit your show. Step 5. Publish your show on Apple, Google, Spotify, and a bunch of third-party podcast apps. Okay, let's throw a little humor in here, right? Step 6. Get used to the idea that unless you're Joe Rogan or Conan O'Brien, you're not gonna make $1 million overnight. Step 7. Think about how the small numbers make you feel inadequate. Wait, hang on. No, step 8. Remember that time someone told you that you peaked in high school? Oh my god. Step 9. Wonder if they're right. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh no. Okay, hang on a second. I need a moment. Step 10. Zen. Take a moment to meditate. Gather your thoughts and let a babbling brook transport you away to another realm. A place where you can feel the tall, itchy grass that... Oh god, no, that sounds awful. Tall sand dunes that... Oh no, that gets everywhere. Outer space. Yes, everything else feels insignificant when you think of the size of the universe. It's refreshing, really. And sure, everything might not make sense, but that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy yourself. That doesn't mean that you can't find a sense of who you are, your true self deep within. And at the end of the day, if the waves of anxiety just keep crashing over you and you can't seem to escape the murky depths of that awful ocean, there's always one other option. Video games. Ah, yes, a distraction. This always works. When my mind is overloaded, I need to unwind. I need to unplug my brain, or maybe at least plug it in somewhere else. So I fired up my webcam, loaded Fallout 4, and the next thing I knew, I was live on twitch.tv/the Scavengers Network. Wink. I was problem solving live in front of our followers. The most obvious thing to do was to create the first Scavengers Network podcast studio of the nuclear apocalypse. I set up a producer station, social media manager station, an editing station, and just a general podcaster seat. Put some relevant artwork on the walls, and made sure to give some food and drink as well as some proper soundproofing, or as best as I can get in a wooden structure built in the Fallout world. But this didn't tell me enough. Although I had fun, there just wasn't enough a reminder of modern day practices. So I loaded up a much more realistic game, Animal Crossing. Here in Animal Crossing, I set up the biggest room in my house as a podcast studio. I put up artwork from shows that I love, and then put up artwork from all the creators on the Scavengers Network. I made sure to provide desks and workspaces for each creator with clear views for the cameras if they want to live stream, microphones, an effects rack, a mini fridge, a tool station. I mean, this spot really had it all. I could see myself making a podcast here. And that's when I remembered what I was supposed to be doing all along. So here we are, right back where we started from, doing the thing that I initially said I was going to do. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we? How to make a podcast. Step 1. Develop an idea for a show. You need to give people a reason to tune into your show. Developing the idea of your show and what your show is about is how you then tell people about your show. And just saying, my friend and I are really funny, usually doesn't bring people in through the door. Step 2. Now that you've developed that idea, tell people about it. Tell all your friends. Get all the hype up for your new show. Step 3. Announce a very lofty goal for your premiere date for your podcast. Okay, real quick, step 1A. Kind of have a last minute panic attack about maybe your show name has already been used, so you very frantically search through the Apple Podcast app to see if it has been or not. Step 4, research your microphone and your sound editing software. There are a lot of cheap options that can sound just as good as $1,000 equipment. Step 5, record your first podcast episode on an adrenaline rush from your fast approaching deadline. That's why you set that lofty goal after all. Step 6, and I cannot stress this one enough, procrastinate. It is your creator-given right, and you're definitely going to need it when it comes to Step 7, edit your podcast. I always edit my podcast last minute, the day before it comes out, sometimes even the day that it does come out. No one edits their show weeks ahead of schedule, and if they say they do, they're lying to you. Step 8, recognize that while it might not be perfect, it's still yours, and this little show you've created may just have legs, so run with it. Step 9, publish your podcast, and congratulations, you are now officially a podcaster. Step 10, rinse and repeat. Whether that means you go back and record your next episode and then procrastinate and edit, etc., or maybe you want to start another show and another show and another show. That's how we got to where we are today. That's also how you end up with a Google Doc with, I don't know, let's just say 50 or more podcast ideas that you'll probably never use, that you hoard like you're some sort of weird podcast dragon. I mean, I'm not speaking from personal experience. It's probably someone else. There you have it. The 10 easy steps on how to make a podcast. I hope that this lived up to Morgan's hopes and dreams. I hope that this helped you in some way. I hope that you enjoyed the journey that we were all on. And I hope that you all have a great time at the rest of the SNIPS showcase this weekend. As always, I'm Colin Parker, and I will see you all next time. I can't believe it took me this long to make this video. This was so easy.